Assalamu alaikum. Okay, this is 8:10. Good evening, everyone. I'm by name Aliu Toib Olaiton, Research and Development Officer, Ahmadu Bello University Developers. I'm going to be your host for tonight. I welcome you all to the rebate or to the second season of ABUDevs Techtalk. You are all welcome. Please, if you can all hear me, please reply with your best emoji if you can hear me. Thank you very much. As we are waiting for others to join, we also engage ourselves and we start the program in earnest. Today, we'll be talking about demystifying health tech, a beginner guide to digital health revolution. Uh, Technology have been evolving and have been changing the world since, and health is not left behind. Technology also impacting in the health sector, which inspired the team to come up with this wonderful topic of discourse today. If you are a beginner in the tech industry and you want to think of digital revolution that you can do to the health sector, how can you start? Or people in the health sectors that are thinking of bringing tech to part of their day-to-day activity, how can you start? Are we I don't know if all the panelists are in the house, and by 8 15 dot, we start the discussion in earnest. Thank you very much. Okay. Good evening once again. It's time and it's 8:15. We can start the program. We like to welcome the presence or recognize the presence of Abdullahi Usman Abati, Magazine Team Technology, Bayero University, Kano. If you are around Abdullahi, please can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Abdullah Osman Abati. I'm representing Maxiton Technology. I'm now alumni of Bayero University, Kano. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Abdullahi. Secondly, among our panelists, we also have Nafisa Abdurrahman Umar, CEO Nadir Online Volunteering, Nile University. Nafisa, if you are here, please, you can also introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, good evening. I'm very happy to be here. I'm Nafisa Omar, as you just heard, and I'm a very recently graduated alumnus of Nile University of Nigeria, software engineering. I am the CEO and founder of Nadir online volunteering platform, which just aims to make volunteering more accessible within Nigeria and improve the volunteering culture of Nigerians.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's amazing, Nafisa. We love to know more during the session. With your knowledge in volunteering and in tech landscape, I know you'll be able to dive more into the health technology aspect. Lastly and firstly, our panelist, our last panelist, or let me say our first panelist, Mr. Joseph Ologunja, MD software is MD is a software engineer at Oberton School, United States. Please, if you are here, Mr. Joseph, you can introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Joseph. Nice to meet everyone. Thanks for inviting me to speak on this topic. I'm a medical doctor by profession, but I also work as a developer in a startup in Lagos. I schooled in under ALX, who at that time was partnered with Oberton School. So was able to get my software and engineering, degree more or less. So I have about 1 year experience in the tech field. So I'm happy to speak and answer all your questions. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph. Wow, we have amazing and people that are already into the tech ecosystem and they are ready to share their knowledge to us. As we dive into the world of health tech today, we have three experts and experienced and knowledgeable panelists that will be taking us through this journey. They have introduced themselves and we all listened to their introduction. I think with this their introduction, we are all eager to hear what they have for us. To kickstart this session tonight, I would love to direct the question firstly to Nefisa. What is health tech generally, or what do you think is health tech?
Okay, I was hoping I wouldn't get this question because I have a conflicted definition of health tech. So I have my simple definition, it's the simplest one, and it's health tech is basically the use of technology for the healthcare industry. So the use of technology to make the healthcare industry easier, to make it more efficient, just to improve processes in the healthcare industry. And then I have this whole broad definition that is a mess because health tech is very, very broad. When you say health tech, people normally think about physical health, but it's so much bigger than that. Health tech could be used by doctors, it could be used on a personal level, anything that any solution that is built to improve the health of an individual person or a population actually consists of health tech. So it could be even the simplest mobile app, maybe your mobile app that records how many steps you walk a day. That could improve your health, and that is health tech. But it could also be something as advanced as the robots that are built for people who have spinal cord injuries, people suffering from paralysis. That is also health tech. So it's a very broad thing that has a simple definition. I don't know if that helps anybody.
Wow, that's amazing. You have even taken it from what is health tech and telling us what are the stuff that fall under health tech. My second questions, my second question will be directed to Mr. Joseph, and I don't know if you can briefly tell us how health tech have evolved over the years. I don't know if Mr. Joseph is there.
Yeah. Thank you, Ali, for the question. So there is a lot of push now in health tech with the innovations around AI and machine learning. So you would see that there's a lot more innovations around introducing the benefits of AI and machine learning into health. But prior to that, there have been a lot of areas that health and tech were meeting together, especially in the areas of health informatics, also health telematics. as well as data engineering and even software engineering, more or less. So um, building products or building applications or building hardware, like Nafisat said, building hardware and software around improving the delivery of health, improving patients' flow, improving doctors' workflows in the hospitals. Those have actually been around for a very long time. Building systems around transferring information, patient information from one industry to another industry. So from one facility to another facility, that has been for a while, and particularly because the health information or medical information is quite unique in itself. It's complex, it's intricate, and it's delicate, and not many people understand the dependencies and interactions around health data. So having a lot of more health inclined people, or health medical inclined people going into health tech has been the push for quite a while. And with the advent of AI, data, and machine learning, is more out in the open now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. I think Mr. Joseph has tell us how EdTech has been evolving over the years from softwares, wearable device, telematics, data engineering, and the rest. Yes, I will also direct the next question to Mala Abdullahi from Maxington Technologies. My question goes like this. Mr. Joseph has talked about some of this technology, but one of the common technology in the edtech industry that people know about is telemedicine. How is telemedicine impacting the health industry, or how does telemedicine as an health technology works? For we, the newbie, we want to explore that, and I don't know if we can share more light on that, sir. Mala Abdullahi.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you now. So actually, I would like to make some certain brief before going to telemedicine. Because COVID-19 pandemic has brought to the surface the dwindling state of manual and physical health operations. We are all aware that industries, enterprises has drastically changed their operational system since the pandemic. So it is in that regard, tech enthusiasts and other healthcare practitioners suggest the use of telemedicine, and then it has shown that it can cater an aid to facilitate the use of it in healthcare system. But before going to that, I would like the audience to know more about what telemedicine is. So telemedicine, when we say telemedicine, we simply means the remote provision of healthcare services using telecommunication technology, in which patient could be able to enter to send his diagnostic or medical record or data or information and get his feedback. There's one publication that was published, I think if I can recall, this year on 16th of May by Jocko Howard of CNN, that she cited that there is mounting concern about the ongoing shortage of medical practitioners across the globe. So it is quite obvious that the world in general are experiencing the lack of medical practitioner, in which you can go to a hospital and spend some large amount of time, huge duration from morning to evening. So for this aspect, it is in this regard telemedicine is suggested, whereby you can book and then you can interact with the machine and it can help you for minor illness and other one or two things that the healthcare system could be able to do. And then it has some certain Uh,
Hello.
Hello, Salim, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, it also provide a convenient way for patient to receive medical care, virtual consultation to eliminate the need of traveling from his home, and it also reduce the. So this is the little I can say in telemedicine.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Abdullahi. Uh, an excellent insight on what health tech is all about, especially focusing on telemedicine aspect of it. And now let's dive into the art of health tech. How is this health tech impacting the patient? I will be directing my next question to Nafisa. How is health technology transforming the way healthcare is delivered to patients and also improve access to personalized medicine? And what, yes, also personalized medicine. I don't know if Nafisa is there and she can.
Yes, yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. My colleagues have said a lot. They've given great examples of health tech, and to weigh the impact that health tech has had on the healthcare industry as a whole, you have to look at it from like the different segments. My I'm going to pick like my favorite impacts that I've seen from health tech. So number one, health tech makes it possible for problems that weren't really considered before to be at the forefront now. Like there's this company called Embodied that makes robots that have conversations with young children who have learning disabilities just to make them better socialized and make it easier for them to like learn speech and learn social norms, and that's so beautiful. Like something like that is so personalized, and it's not looked at in like, usually it's like, okay, if you have enough money you go to a speech therapist, and it's like a long-term process. But with Moxie, Embodied Moxie, you can just spend, I think it's like $600 for a robot one time, and your child is able to have basically a friend, even though they may be socially disadvantaged. And it's so amazing that with like health tech, you're able to be in the comfort of your home, and you're measuring all of these factors that influence your health. You're measuring how much water you take. You have pace setters now that the pace setter is it's this small device that is put in the chest area to measure, to control your heartbeat. So now we have pace setters that are like connected to your phone. So you already know like if your heart is in good shape, and it can like forward your measurements to your physician. And that's just so easier because you don't have to wait for symptoms to start showing up and then you go to your doctor. Already your doctor is going to be aware of things that are happening. Another impact that health tech has had is the use of data. So I'm very passionate about data science and using data to make very good decisions. So you're not just leading the blind. And with health tech, there's so much data being generated, and all of that data is being collected to make the healthcare industry better. So something as minuscule as, let's say, the number of patients that walk into a hospital, all of that is being measured. And using AI, you can actually make efficient use of scheduling so that during your peak hours as a hospital, you know that, okay, maybe more people should be on duty at this point of the day because we have more patients, and your wait time is reduced as a patient. And I came across this amazing technology too recently. It's called Patient Point, and we've all been to like the hospital, and then especially in Nigeria, you know, like you go to a government hospital and you have to wait 5 6 hours to see a doctor. But with patient points, like even that waiting time, they make sure that patients are engaged during their waiting time, and the patients learn things that will make them be live healthier lives. And like health tech is just so amazing. I could go on and on. There are people who are dedicated to making robots so that if you have a spinal injury or you're paralyzed, you are not going to be paralyzed for the rest of your life anymore. There are robots that can help you, that can basically provide physical therapy to you without a physical therapist. So there are robots that can help you regain the use of your muscles. And even if you have no hope of regaining the use of your muscles, you could have like smart, what do they call them? Smart limbs that can move on your behalf. Like you can control them and they can move. So health tech is like, it's such an amazing industry that more people need to get into. I could go on and on. And another thing is health tech has made it so much more possible for accessible healthcare to reach remote 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 areas. So with WHO now investing into health tech, like you just know that everybody is going to be brought along to getting affordable and accessible healthcare. And finally, I'm going to close with the fact that health tech has made healthcare so much more accessible and so much more affordable, because with the technological innovations, there are costs that have been cut. So, like the example that I gave with Moxie, the speech therapy robot, you don't need to think about budgeting for, if you have a child that is socially disadvantaged, that has learning disabilities, you don't have to think about years and years of physical therapy, right? You just invest this one time on a robot, and your child has someone to connect with, like socially, and can gain social skills. And it's really lovely. It's really nice. Even telemedicine that Mr. Ali talked about, telemedicine is generally more affordable than having to like go to a hospital and see a doctor, see a caretaker, that kind of thing. So health tech is amazing.
Wow, thank you, Nafisa. You have really addressed some of the stuff we don't know about telemedicine or health tech in general, and you have explained what are the stuffs that we can explore in the field of health tech. Yeah, thank you very much. Now we have a software engineering among the panelists, which make the discussion more interesting because the host of this event, they are a community of developers. Now, Mr. Joseph, as a software engineer, I will be directing this question to you. What do you think is the role of the software engineers in the health tech industry?
Thank you very much, Ali. So yeah, there's a lot more focus on the software bit of health tech than the hardware. I think that's something that Nafisat tried to speak on today, and I've actually never realized that. But yeah, it's a bit harder to translate business problems or healthcare problems to code, and that's where the software engineers come into play, where you basically try to break down huge complex dependencies and intricacies that exist with, a doctor meeting a patient or speaking to a patient, prescribing medications, allowing that patient to, make payment for that medication and getting that, and making sure that all that is safe and all that is, is confidential. So having to break that down is what is basically the job of software engineer, um, writing code around that or building systems around that, to basically imitate things we do manually, basically automating process. Yes, basically, yeah. So the major work of a software engineer is basically automating the process of what we do in health and trying to translate that into, code that is basically available anywhere at any point in time. Like for instance, I don't know if anyone has used the Apple watches or telematic watches, basically, you can basically get your blood pressure, your heart rate done, at any point in time. That's basically healthcare at telematics. But software engineers have to sit down, understand what the those features or what that health problem was, having to regularly check your blood pressure and heart rate, and we're able to write code around that. And that code was basically put into the Apple Watch that is being that everybody keeps using, and that allows you to have better health surveillance and better health monitoring. So yeah, the for health tech, basically, yeah, the work of a software engineer is quite a lot, and software engineering is goes just more than just writing code. It's more or less thinking into the problem and trying to see how to make that problem automated, or make that problem less difficult than it looks, more or less. And most of the time it can be difficult to try and automate manual processes. So like in the field of data engineering, you try to transfer data from one place to another place, and for many software engineers in that on the meeting right now, they understand that moving data from one place to another can be very difficult, because data can be very dirty, and then cybersecurity and things like that. So um, the work of software engineer is quite difficult when it comes to health, but it's quite doable, and with more um, inclined professionals like doctors, pharmacists, physiologists coming into the tech field, it makes things a bit more easier. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. I have really paint a vivid picture of health tech and how the software engineers can come in and also keen into the health tech industry and how they can build better solution and what they need to know as the software engineer in the health tech industry. Thank you very much. Uh, Mr. Joseph talked about the software and the engineering part of the health tech. I don't know if Mr. Abdullah is there. Uh, if he's there, we can also, you mentioned earlier that the health tech industry have both the hardware and software. Some of us are into hardware stuff, but we call ourselves in the tech industry, like people in robotics, embedded system, and the rest. Some of them can also be in this meeting. I don't know if Mala Abdullah is there. How can these people also keen in the health tech industry?
Alama,
Mr.
the
Abdul,
network has glitched. Please, can you come? Can you
okay.
repeat the question? Sorry for that.
Yes, I said Mr. Joseph has talked about the software part of health technology. I don't know if you can also tell us people that want to venture into the hardware part of the health tech, like Nafisa mentioned, robots and other devices in the health tech industry. People that want to start the hardware part, and also how can they also start? Because you mentioned the software part earlier. Hello? Hello? Okay, it seems he's not getting the question or his network is bad. Uh, this will be our second to the last question, and this question will be directed to the all of the three panelists. I will say the question out, and I don't know who want to go first among the panelists. This is just what are the challenges, especially tech challenges being faced in the health tech industry, such like regulation, privacy, digital divide, and the rest. And what these challenges, which opportunities these challenges creating for the people in the tech industry? Miss Nafisa, hello.
Okay, hi, I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
Um, so, as you mentioned, one challenge is when it comes to regulation, especially for those of us that are in developing countries, and it's almost as if our government is on one wavelength and our tech landscape is on another landscape, is on a whole other landscape, and it feels like our government is playing catch up with tech. So I think like an opportunity where that comes in is you look at what people in other more advanced countries are doing, countries that have like very robust regulations and policies on health tech, and just make sure that what you're doing in health tech, aligns with their own policies, their own regulations, because I'm sure that when we do catch up, we are not going to go against like what WHO is saying, what the NHIS, for example, is saying, things like that. So that's one. And then I want to like really look at Nigeria, and one challenge for our healthcare industry that we all know is that we don't have enough healthcare professionals. We simply don't. Our healthcare industry is almost like stretched thin. And I remember one of my mentors saying that he actually like loves that he's Nigerian. And the reason why he loves that he's Nigerian is because Nigeria has so many problems, and you can choose from any of those problems and build a solution for that and make money of that. So every problem that like we can bring up with our healthcare industry, it's an opportunity for you as an innovator, as somebody in tech, to utilize and leverage on that and make impacts. So we know that okay, our healthcare industry is stretched thin. That's where things like telemedicine comes in, because it takes far less time for you to have a virtual consultation than for a patient to get up, go to the hospital, see a doctor, do all the consultations needed. It takes less time. So, like, that's an opportunity for telemedicine in our market. And another thing is that with like we also have problems with like drug regulation and stuff. I know that we have a lot of healthcare startups that work on like making sure that people get authentic drugs. So, like MedSafe, for example, MedSafe is basically, it serves as a middleman between hospitals and pharmaceutical companies so that people get authentic drugs. So every problem that we have in our healthcare industry, and where as a people we complain a lot, so we know the problems. We just have to look for the opportunities within those problems. So I think that's what I'll say. Yeah, I'm done.
Thanks, Nafasat. Yeah, so yeah, those are some of the problems that exist within the health tech industry in Nigeria. Particularly, Nigeria is a very unique entity in itself. So, some problems that would exist normally outside the Nigerian factors, get complicated when you add the Nigerian factor into it, especially when you look at infrastructure and the literacy levels that exist. Because even for health generally, without even adding technology on top, not many people are willing to take their health seriously. So the uptake for health tech would be lower than health generally. And then having people to trust some of the technologies they are bringing, and then having to teach them how to use or recognize how these technologies can help them is another process. Another thing I've noticed is that the domain knowledge that exists within the health tech is quite low. Yet there are not a lot of medical professionals in Nigeria, and even with the growing number of more technically inclined people, that is software engineers and the likes, not many of them really do have that domain knowledge backing them, especially when you're looking at the data, because basically healthcare is data. You don't have a lot of people that understand how to use, manipulate, transform, extract, health data, and basically use it properly and keep it safe and clean it. So those are some of the other challenges that exist within the health space. Then interoperability, yeah, that's another issue that is existing. There's a move in Nigeria currently to try to build a system to help transfer healthcare information from one health facility to another health facility, but it's going to be a while, and it's a challenge that has been present for a while. So those are some of the things, some of the challenges that we are looking at. And since healthcare is data, you can't really build systems around isolated data. Basically, you have data silos in different private hospitals and public hospitals. A patient that was managed in a public hospital goes to a private hospital, and you're, asking questions from from zero because you don't have any information on the patient. The patient had actually received a lot of care from public hospital. So those data silos causes a number of problems. So that's one of the other challenges. Then yeah, regulatory information. While yeah, there is profound systems or infrastructure around regulatory bodies or regulation of health tech or even healthcare in developed countries. In Nigeria, it's not really so. I'm not fully aware, so I can't really say. But yeah, the regulation is not really so. So you might have a lot of people coming up with solutions that are not easily regulated, and trying to get regulations for them or even get them validated can also be a lot of problems as well. Then the tech space is moved by continuous learning. Technologies change every day, tools change every day. You're learning React today, the next day you're seeing that there's Next.js. In the next 1 or 2 years, you find out that there's a new technology. So the tech space is about continuous learning, and the health space is another field that also is filled with a lot of continuous learning, because even after you finish your pre-med, or you finish as graduate medical doctor, you go back into do residency, and then even after becoming a consultant, you still go back to do research, and you every day you learn something new. You're learning new guidelines that keep changing. Research is going on every day to see what can be done better. So the health tech now basically now is a field that is always, you always need to look at continuous learning. You always keep to be abreast, and that can be a challenge for people that are not inclined in in the medical field, because having to keep up with that information while you are building solutions can be very difficult. And I think those are some of the challenges I can put up from the top of my head right now. And I know that maybe I'm speaking more of the challenges around software, yeah, but I know there are some other challenges around hardware. I think the infrastructure is there, and the expertise as well. There are not many institutions that offer those research opportunities for developers or even talented individuals to try their hands on different things and fail, and see how things can be done better. Even research is basically not always doesn't always have to be successful. Even failures, you can learn from failures in your research. So those are some of the challenges that we face, particularly in our Nigerian context, and those are some of the places that, like Nafisa said, opportunities are abound. Thank you.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah, I'm done. Sorry.
Yes, okay. Uh, Nafisa and Mr. Joseph, both of you did justice to the topic, and now we already know the challenges ahead for us. And now we have mentioned the challenges we have in the health tech industry in the developing countries and generally. Now, we have a lot of people that join this meeting or this tech talk. Some are into the tech landscape, some are into the health industry. Most of the people in this tech landscape, they want to start a solution, to develop a solution for the tech industry, for the health industry. And people in the health industry are scared that technology is going to take their job. And also they are looking for them not learning technology. And also people that are not in tech and are not in health, they're also looking at tech is just Like a telemedicine app will not predict drugs for them the way a doctor is going to predict the drugs for them. I don't know if we can just demystify the mindset or enlighten people based on their background on what are the importance and the importance of health tech. Is it that better or and we close this session and move to the question and answer session after this question? I don't know if Mr. Abdullah is there and he can listen to the question. Maybe he can start and others will pick up from there.
Yeah, it's Malali, I'm here. So, actually, there's a quite fear, not only in healthcare sector, but generally in all disciplines. With the advent of AI, precisely, there are so many fears that machines are going to take human beings' jobs in the coming years, precisely from 2050. Because there's one article I read from J-Box that stated that from 2050, 80% of hard jobs operation are going to lose their job. And then there's no discipline that is going to be an exception in that regard. But actually, we all know that human beings are prone to error. However, machine could not be able to operate 100% automated without the intervention of human being. So in one way or the other, definitely there is risk uh, important for each and every health tech practitioner in order to go deeply into the tech aspects to learn more about so that it's going to help in order to compose the true knowledge so that he can stay within the line because there's so many innovation not only in the telemedicine there's so many innovation regarding to medical imaging advancing cloud computing that is the big data, whereby data are going to compress it on itself to be used for decision making and other factor. It's going to help a lot. But I suggest that there is need, and then it's not only a suggestion but a compulsory need for all the healthcare practitioner to go deeply into the tech and learn more.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Usman. Yeah, those are actually very good points. There's always going to be fear around innovation. It's not a fear that started recently, but yeah, it got worse with artificial intelligence being better, which it's just make it in the nearest future. It's to make the world a better place, not basically to remove jobs. But those are some of the consequences that come around innovation. The more you automate processes, the less you have people to manually do those processes. So yeah, the fear of innovation would always come up whenever you're bringing up new solutions as well. Particularly around AI, there's because of the rapid push, there's new guidelines or concept around responsible use of AI, which is basically putting guards or safety rails around the use or building solutions with AI. And I think one of them is the accountability factor and transparency factor. You need to have a human being still be at the outcome point of that decision made by that system. Because if that system fails, they won't blame the code that is running in the background. They will need to blame a human person. So those are some of the, so yeah, unemployment would increase, but life would get better. So it's like, for instance, the Apple Watch and the Apple Watch and a patient that is having an heart attack. So previously, patients would go into the hospital after having a chest pain, and they would need to do a test for the patient to check the heart if the heart is okay. And then at that point in time, the signs might be gone. But with an Apple Watch, you can actually record or extract information on that patient or that person's heart readings, and that can give you an idea of what most likely happened at that point in time. And the the innovation there removed somebody having to do that chest examination, do that chest test for that person because it's already available. But no, the person would has better outcomes from that. So it's basically a benefit risk discussion with anybody that is going to use, or when you're trying to push the solution. Will this solution be helpful? Will it, save lives? Will it help more people? Will it make things easier? Okay, the risk is that more people lose job. Now you now need to look at that. So it's not a question that anybody can answer. That yes, AI is going to come, or technology is going to come and take our jobs. No, we should not accept technology. It's like basically trying to stay in one place. Like, for instance, research. Don't do research so that we don't find better ways to do things. It's not something that it's just basically trying to make people get better at what they do. You find out that there are more technical people available now than there were in 5 years ago because of this push around AI, and the solutions are coming up. And yeah, more people are there are more people, less technical people that are now upskilling to get into those spaces that the solutions have been automated for. So I think it's a discussion that is not never going to go away, because the innovations around AI or health tech or software is going to keep going, and people just going to, we are human beings, we learn to grow, we learn to get better, and it's just something that we have to just deal with. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Th-
Joseph and Mr. Abdullah. I especially like what Joseph said about weighing the benefits and the risk, because the truth is that as human beings, like a universal truth is that we're always going to fear that which we don't know. So I always tell people, like, if you're afraid of AI and AI taking over the world or AI taking over jobs, do your research, and once you do, I think you're going to see that, like as Joseph said, the benefits outweigh the risk, especially in Nigeria. Like, it's very, for us, I feel like our system is already overwhelmed. So we need all hands on deck. We don't even have enough trained specialists in the first place for us to be afraid of them losing their jobs, for instance. Like, if you look at the benefits, they greatly outweigh the risks. And one thing is that a lot of the applications of health tech are things that human beings either cannot do, or there aren't enough human beings to do it for us. There are things that we just need to automate. Like when we talk about surgical robots and the type of precision that they bring onto the table, you can't say, let's not use robots in surgery just because we don't want surgeons to lose their jobs. Because if you put yourself in the shoes of a patient, you want that precision on board. You want as much innovation that as can help you. So I think the key is just to get people, like, to learn more and more. And I'm always an advocate of people who have domain knowledge coming into tech, rather than someone like me that, like, went to university for software engineering. I prefer to have, like, I really love it when someone that is like a medical student or a law student, for example, an accounting student, decides, I want to build tech solutions. I want to be there to support such a person, because that domain knowledge is like the most important thing. And you can't say you're going to stay away from technology because you feel like technology is out to get you. It's here to make life easier for all of us. And one thing is that you need to upskill to the point that you can't be replaced by a machine. You can't be replaced by AI that is built by someone else. Just upskill, be so good at your job that the machine is there to support you and not to replace you. I think that's just the easiest thing. So let's not be afraid of tech, and we need more experts. We need more doctors, we need more nurses. We need more of them putting input into technology, because health tech in particular is something that is so specialized, it's something that is so sensitive to, that we need that domain knowledge if we want any sort of health tech to succeed. So yeah, just learn about it and you won't be afraid anymore.
Thank you very much. Nafisa, you did justice to this topic or to the question, whereby at least by now all the medical students in this meeting will have now start changing their mind, start for them to pick a career in the tech industry, and also some of the tech guys are even thinking of changing their courses to start knowing more about some of these core courses and go and learn them. Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph and Mr. Abdullah. We really appreciate. Now we'll be going to the question and answer session, whereby we open the floor for the audience to ask that question, because this session or this tech talk will not be complete without the audience expressing themselves and asking questions. And before we open the floor for question and answer, please, if you want to ask a question, signify by raising up your hand. And after you raise up your hand, we now point at you to to ask your question, or if you have any contribution. Also, we'll also be doing some little finger games for those of us that we can minimize our phone and do other stuff, or people that have extra phone or mini phone. Please just jot this code down. Later, during the course of the question and answer session, I'll be calling some numbers, especially for the MTN and Airtel users. Please, you can jot this code down: *347 *119 when I call the pin, and you put hash at the back of the pin. Let me call the code again: *347 *119 the pin, then hash. I think we get the code. If you get the code, please reply or with your best emoji. Reply with your best emoji, and if you have question or contribution, please raise up your hand, and the panelists are here for you to answer your questions. No question? Okay, I can see somebody is raising up his hand. Muhammad Hussein, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Wow. Thank you very much. I actually mind now. I just have only one question. The question goes this way: in the evolving field of health technology. This is my question. Thank you very much.
Sorry, there was a feedback. I couldn't get the question.
Okay.
Have you gotten my question?
There's a feedback from your end. I can't hear you clearly. Sorry.
Okay, I said, how can a beginner actively engage and stay informed in the evolving field of health technology?
We can't hear you clearly. I think there is noise from your background, or maybe from your
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
My question is, how can a beginner actively engage and stay informed in the evolving field of health technology? This is the question. Like
Okay,
a
that's a
newbie.
great question. We get the first one. His question is that how can a beginner stay involved or get informed in the world of health technology? I don't know who wants to answer this question, or who is answering the question. Mr. Joseph can go ahead and answer for us. Miss Nefisa can also do so. Mr. Abdullah can also do so for us.
So, so personally, I feel that health tech is a bit of, let's say, a misnomer, more or less. It's basically technology for health. So, you trying to look for a way to be more, okay, how do I put this now? So health tech is basically building technical solutions or technology solutions for health. So what I can say to answer your question is, if you stay abreast of innovations or stay involved in communities or stay aware of happenings around technology, and you have a good technical understanding of health, it's possible for you to, translate that information into the healthcare space. There are still a number of healthcare industries that have that that do health tech. I think pharmacology is one, or pharmaceuticals, big pharma, they call them at one of the ways. So if you follow a number of big pharma companies on basically LinkedIn, Facebook, more or less, those can give you keep you abreast. LinkedIn is a very good resource or good tool for you to stay aware of happenings around health innovations or health events, more or less. And with the new push around AI, there's a lot of health tech coming into the picture right now. So following companies like Microsoft Azure, cloud computing companies, basically cloud providers, and also give you an idea of what might be happening in the health tech space. So following research companies, following big pharmaceutical companies on LinkedIn, or even you're setting up your um, Google it's the analytics now, Google information to give you resources, or following reading articles on Medium can also give you an idea of what is really happening in the technical space. And sometimes you can actually find some good resource for health tech. So just to summarize, LinkedIn, very good resource. You can follow big pharmaceutical companies, follow you know, people that speak a lot about health tech or even technology, basically, and setting up your Google to give you updates about what's happening, and then also reading Medium articles as well. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Mr. Joseph have already explained and enlightened Muhammad Hussein on the question he asked. As we are waiting for more questions, I think we all get the code. And for the MTN user, if you have the code, you can start. I will call the pin now, and let's see who has the fastest finger online. Even though this is one of the game they run offline, let's see who have the fastest finger online. Are we ready? If we are ready, let's reply with our best emoji. Okay, I see nobody is using emoji. Okay, I can see people now. If we are ready, you can listen. 1640321775. Let me call the pin again. 1640321775. Who get it? Who got the pin? Okay, Al Hassan Muhammad, you can go ahead and talk. Okay, Al Hassan Muhammad got the pin. Okay, for the Airtel user, you can also do the same thing. Type the code and also get this pin. And we move to the next question. Are we already Airtel users? 1683796240. Let me go again. 1683796240. Airtel users, as you are waiting to hear for the person that get the pin to respond, if you have any question or contribution regarding the topic of discussion, you can contribute and also ask your question. Okay, since I see people are not asking question. I don't know. Let me ask question because I've learned a lot from this discussion and I've jotted some stuff down. One of the challenges we mentioned, some of the panelists discussed in the health tech industry is data. Uh, Now, as data is one of the challenges, how can we have data on health that will support our health technologies or our health solution? I know we have something like Kaggle and the rest where we can get data, but some of these data are not really peculiar to Africa and Nigeria. What advice can you give to us starting the journey in the tech industry, in the field of data and the rest? What can we do to bridge the gap of lack of data in the of these health data? Hello, do you get the question?
Yeah. So I think one important thing for us to do is to raise awareness about the importance of data, because for now there's a lot of data that is being generated that's being wasted in Nigeria because we're not collecting the data. We are just, it's wasting. If you are, for example, running a hospital and you don't have basic analytics on your patients, then that's like a lot of data. That's a gold mine of data that you're losing out on. And also, one thing is that there are actually organizations that are working hard to collect data for Africa, but because maybe we learn from different platforms, we don't really find out about them as much. So, one thing I like to do is to raise awareness about such organizations. So, like we have Open Africa. Open Africa has a lot of available to us for it's like it's more personalized towards Africa than the general data that you find on Kaggle. And then we can also do our own parts to collect data in our various organizations, or like in your school. What are you doing to make sure that data is being collected? You have to start from home, at home, in your personal life. What are you doing to collect data? Because it's when we actually start collecting data that we can start to think about infrastructure and start to think about policies and regulations and data privacy and things like that. The most important thing is not to let that data go to waste. From the very beginning, let's start to collect the data.
Thank you, Miss Nafisa, for answering my question. And I know these are some of the questions in the mind of a lot of people, but they don't know how they are going to ask. And I also want to commend the effort of Mr. Joseph and Miss Nafisa for giving us the opportunity or for having you at ABUDevs Tech Talk Rebate, because after 2-3 months break of Tech Talk ABUDevs, we are back again, and to ignite the Tech Talk start last season, and the season 2 of the Tech Talk is back. As we are in the question and answer session, as we are waiting for more question, and if no question, we will end today's program. But before we end the program, we get the Airtel pin earlier. If you are the one, you can signify. And if nobody get the pin, we'll use it another time. For MTN user again, you can take this. If you are ready, reply with your best emoji, and let's go. 1665 917059. 1665 917059. Okay. Okay. I think we now have better users. Yeah. If we have better users, we still have pin for the Airtel users. Thank you very much, our great speaker and panelist, for gracing this tech talk and sharing your experience and expertise in the world of technology to our audience that joined this session. We are really grateful, and we also extend our greeting to people that support us for this program, starting from Air Classic Technologies, Thinkers in Blockchain Kaduna, and also Brave Post Technology for giving us opportunity and supporting us to host this edition of ABUDevs Tech Talk. We have come to the end of today's session. Each and every one of us, thank you for joining. See you next month. Thank you very much.